Hello folks and welcome to today's special show. Myself, Shane Stapleton and Michael Burney with me as well. We're here for the All-Ireland minor final that's coming up this weekend. Tipperary against Kilkenny. That's going to be at Nolan Park, and we have a slew of brilliant guests on the show today for that Electric Ireland All-Ireland minor final. First off, Michael Burney, you got to be looking forward to this game.
Yeah, I'm surprised you boys gave him hometown advantage. You don't want to give the right. Like, the only thing I'd say is, if you do beat them in Nolan Park, it makes it even better again. And you obviously won your last All-Ireland minor final in Nolan Park. But yeah, ballsy call now. You did, yeah. Oh yeah, surprisingly enough, you did.
Yeah. Who was that against?
Uffal, yeah.
yeah, that was a great day. I know you don't see it that way, but that was a brilliant day, especially having my own hometown club mate, Paddy McCormack, scoring that late goal. And we're going to be talking to Cathal Barrett about his club mate, Cathal O'Reilly, being the Holy Cross man, that he's captain at Tipperary going into this final as well. So, you know, all those connections that you have within club as well. I presume you've had club mates involved with minor teams going into big games.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you get a good buzz out of it now. Ben Miller was full-back for the Offaly 20s, and you're willing them to do well the whole time, and you're willing them to perform well and get on well. Like, sure, that's your representation on the biggest day in the under-20 calendar, whatever it was, and he did brilliant after him with Daleby Watkins in the panel, and Johnny Pilkin was a selector, obviously, as well. So you get even more. You're already vested, but you get even more vested in it when you have lads like that involved, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, well, look, we're going to be talking about that an awful lot now as time goes on. And get your comments in. Let us know your thoughts on it. Any questions for Cathal Barrett, Niall Moran, or Brian Dowling, who are all going to be on the show as we progress here. But we have to talk about Mícheál Ó Muircheartaigh. And this is a video I did with him just a couple of years ago in his home in Kildare. So he's talking about Christy Ring here. So let's have a quick little listen. Oh, I think that was the wrong video.
Well, he had all the skills and he was driven. There was nothing higher in life to him than hurling, be it club or county or province. He was that driven. He won a minor All-Ireland in 1938, I think. And 'twas his brother told me this. He was picked as a right half back. And very early in the game, they got to 21, and he wasn't the designated free taker. And he ran up and told the guy that was getting ready to take to get out of the way. That's the way. And the brother Willie said to me, and he scored a point, a goal, of course. And he was that way all his life. He had this supreme confidence in his own. But he was senior in 39. Can you imagine? I broadcast the final of the Railway Cup hurling match of 1963. And Christy Ring was still there on the Munster team winning his 18th Railway Cup.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he hardly missed a challenge game and all that. He had the skills. He was a tough man when he had to, but he was driven by hurling, and he had great respect for people that would stand up to him and all that. And himself and Mick Mackey were rivals. And
the famous photo.
Oh yeah.
And what was he like as a person to chat to?
Well, he was a quiet, reserved man. He was later on when he became a selector. You know, he was a bit more open, but he was still Christy Ring, who was the king.
Yeah, I mean, that interview goes on for well over an hour anyway. That's on the OurGame YouTube channel if you want to. Do you know what? I think half the time you could even zone out on what he's saying and just listen to his voice, and you just melt away with it.
Yeah, the voice totally draws you in, and like I just remember so many times listening to games on the radio, and you had that uncanny ability to make you feel like you were there and make you feel like you weren't missing out, because you're generally 99% of the time you're missing out if you cannot see the game. But he was, you felt like you knew everything that was going on, like on the 50, on the 40, on the 30, and you know what I mean. It was just brilliant the way he'd draw you in. And listen, I've watched that interview several different times and different clips of it as well. Do you know what, Shane? It's there are certain parts of our job that are where like you have that memory forever that you went to Mícheál Ó Muircheartaigh's house and interviewed the great man. Like it's a really unique thing to have. One of the biggest legends the GA has ever seen, one of the biggest Irish sporting legends there's ever been. Like basically like an emblem of Ireland, the voice of Ireland almost. And it's a really, really cool thing to have. I have to say, there are certain parts of the job that are an absolute privilege, and I imagine that's a massive thing to have under your belt.
Yeah, it certainly is. No, really, really enjoyed that. And you know what? I came away just a little bit feeling like, oh, you should have asked even more and even more, because it went on for an hour plus, and he was so good at his time. But I think he was born in like the early 1930s, so he was born 93 years ago. And I was thinking, geez, why didn't I ask him about, does he have any memories of what it was like growing up and hearing all about World War II going on? I mean, I kind of regret stuff like that, but still, the stuff I did get out of him was magical.
There's always going to be, like with Mícheál, there's always going to be stuff you missed, but there's so much in there. I remember sitting beside him for the 2019 All-Ireland football final replay. I was up the back and he was up the back there as well. And like his media career, should we say, would have finished in 2010, I think was his last. I think he did the hurling and football finals that year. But like, such was his standing. Like, he always had a place in the press box, no matter how busy it was, no matter how little seats were available. Mícheál would always have at least one seat there for him. And that was just the standing that he was held in. Tell you an interesting. It's a bit of a mad kind of a quirky one. I was in New Zealand in 2013, and I bought a New Zealand training top, very similar colour to this Electric Ireland top actually, and I was wearing it the following year when Clare and Cork played in Thurles for a Munster Championship game. And I just happened to meet Mícheál, and got a picture taken, and I have it on my phone there. And it just so happened, I wouldn't wear that top often, but I was wearing it the day he passed, which I thought was bizarre. I remember looking down at it and thinking, geez, I have a picture with Mícheál in this top and I'm wearing it today, which is just a bit of a strange one. But just the quotes, like, sure, the quotes will live forever. The Sean O'Halpine, his father from Fiji, his mother from Fiji, his father from Fermanagh, neither a hurling stronghold. The one about Stephen Byrne, one of 12, and 11 of them are here today. Mary's the one that's not here. She's at home minding the house. Just great stuff.
Delighted to say we're joined by Niall Moran. Niall, we were just reminiscing on Mícheál Ó Muircheartaigh there, and just wondering, would you have had any dealings with him over the years?
Yeah, fortunate enough to meet him on a couple of occasions. On an all-star trip many years ago over in Singapore, I happened to have breakfast with himself and his lovely wife, and it was just, to be honest, everyone else probably hungover from the night before. I was a bit green on those trips. I was trying to do a bit of training, and I was the only one up for breakfast, but I was just blessed. I know his son was a physio over there at the time, and I know they were delighted to get over to see him, but just incredible. He came up there a couple of years ago to the school, I think it was 2018, to present Harty medals, and once again, a little bit like that, came to 12:30, 1 o'clock. Sure, we had a bed and everything organised for him, and no, nothing would do him wanting to go back to his beloved Dingle. And I think I was like everyone else there yesterday or the day before, and I heard the news that you're kind of going back through your phone to see, do you have that prize picture? And like that, I said to her, my own wife at home, I said, that's one to get framed. Anyway, he was iconic, and I don't think anything I'm going to say is going to add to the what everyone else has said. He's just a gentleman to the bone, and just interesting actually. It was only, again, just in conversation earlier, I heard how he met his wife, and he happened to, I think she may have been a widowed woman, but he happened just to be staying with her above in Dublin. And when he was up there, obviously teaching or whatever else, and forged an unbelievable relationship. I think 8 kids later. So just look, his story has been told many, and will be told for many centuries to come.